Good morning, good morning.
טוב, בוקר טוב.
מה נשמע בארצנו הקדושה?
שקט הבוקר.
מאוד שקט ברוך השם. איך היה השבת?
עוד שקט, they're waiting for the meeting tomorrow between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Yeah. Now, did you watch Friday how he spoke and with all the
Right.
All the shine walked out.
We're going to learn today. You have to look in. I don't know how your computer is classified. This is in Sifrei Musar, Sefer Orchot Tzadikim. Orchot Tzadikim. And it's Shar 26. We have the same print, so I'll tell you which page are we looking. Open a second page, Kuf Tzadik, in the book you have. He talks a lot about Teshuva, but we're going to move to open in page Kuf Tzadik Dalet. I spoke to Joe Mansour. It's מפורש in Rambam that whoever kills an Eved Knani doesn't pay. Not that the Rambam says you don't pay, it doesn't say that you pay, you pursue that you are patur. And the reason why you are patur is because of kind of the Rabbi. Now, so there's no Gemara that he pays. Then I showed him the Gemara in Sanhedrin 9 that says openly. There is one shita that says that mitar hazeh, if you chayav mitar to Reuven, and underway you did damage to Shimon, then you have to pay, but halakha is not so. Halakha is not so, so pashut it is patur. Eli's question was, if a person kills an Eved Knani, which is a full-fledged murder, is being killed for, unless it's his master within 24 hours, does he have to pay money to his master or not? It has to do with this question. This is a regular act. Now, your question about Goel Adam, what happened if a convert was killed by Shogeg? There's no one. Doesn't have children.
You're saying that they had the
Gemara says there is a Goel Adam appointed by the court.
Right.
Because part of the tshuva of a Rotzer b'Shogeg is the fear that someone might kill him.
But just understand something, if somebody kills an Eved Knani b'Shogeg, he needs to go to your mikvat. Go out. The Gemara seems to say that the person would in Makor seems to say he says the Eved Knani or the Eved or the Kuti. He says the Gemara seems to say that you go el. Right. So that's started out. Say
murdering an Eved Knani is like murdering a regular Jew.
Murder. Okay, I told you we're talking about the Shogeg.
Shogeg is a murder. Murdering Eved Knani, the Shogeg is the same as murdering Hamovadia Yosef.
Okay, so he has to go to your mikvat.
So what's the problem now?
Okay, so the problem I have was that the pasuk tells and gives us a certain amount of value that you have to pay the owner of the Eved if that were to happen. It seems that's all.
This is not in a case where you execute the killer. This is not in a case where if you execute the killer, the same way.
No, I didn't say if you execute the killer. No, that I understand.
This is covered with the Rabbi.
No.
And if it's b'Shogeg, it's exactly the same.
If you kill b'Shogeg, you're saying you don't pay.
Like if you kill b'Shogeg, you would pay because the halakha of chayvei mitot shogegim pturim doesn't apply. Chayvei mitot shogegim is if I burn a house on Shabbat by mistake, I don't pay even though I'm not being killed. This is a pasuk. Tana de b'Chezkiah. But if you kill the Eved Knani, the Shogeg says you have to pay the owner.
You have to pay the owner, and you're going to be chayav, and you're going to be able. You could conceivably kill. You have to go to your mikvat.
I hope you do realize that in 90 is Guzman. in 70% of all murders by shogeg, it's not a real shogeg. There are levels of shogeg.
No,
No, you don't realize. You're asking a
there's
question.
chayav
You're
mezi.
asking a question on the text. The answer is, if you kill someone b'shogeg but honest, karov honest, definitely have to pay. Yeah? So you have no problem with the pasuk already. Yes.
No, you're right.
Right,
Right,
so
I have
this
no
is-
problem.
So,
Okay.
or if he killed b'shogeg in a case where he's not going to the miklat because the details to go to the miklat. Look at the Rambam in Chod Rotzeach. Shlosha minei, there are 3 types of murder. 3 types of murder. You have, okay, look a second. I'm looking for the piece that starts ve'achar she'ya'aleh b'lev ha'adam. You have?
In which sha'ar is it, Rabbi Prague?
I told you, it's Shah 20.
Oh, okay, good. I got the, okay, good.
I found the book, yes?
Yeah, it's in Safari.
No, I'm wrong. Shah 26.
26.
Good. So it says Shah Teshuva, correct?
It'll take me a while, but you go ahead. I'll get to
No, I'll tell you why. When you get there, we are not starting at the beginning. You have to, in my book, you have to skip like 2 parts, 2 pages. So we are in the middle. After it says Hashvi'i, he's giving here 7 reasons why a person should try to do Teshuvah early in his life. We are starting the piece after the 7.
Okay.
Listen carefully. So it starts, ואחר שיעלה בלב האדם לעשות תשובה, לא יוכל לעשות תשובה שלמה אם לא ישים על ליבו 7 דברים. I remember before if you really go into this topic, and every year we go, if you really go to the Gemara, you wouldn't be able to sleep or to eat. No, because it's frightening. And plus that each one of us has, in our mind, different types of guilt. We have to remember that we are reading what the Gemara says, the Torah says, whatever it is, but we have not to put a grain of salt, is to realize it's talking about our generation, which means the expectations or the achievement that we do and the tshuva in our level is the same as it was 500 years. So whenever these people write, this book is approximate, it's not clear who wrote it, but they assume about 500-600 years ago, and very often you see languages that Rabbi Yonah is using, the Rambam is using, so we know that he was after them. Remember, but the idea, the point to Teshuvah is we have to move, to elevate ourselves to a different level. Let's see. Larry, you got this piece.
So just go. I'm getting to it. It's just taking me a while to get to 26.
Okay.
Don't wait. I'll get there. I'm almost there.
בלב האדם לעשות תשובה, לא יוכל לעשות תשובה שלמה אם לא ישים על ליבו 7 דברים. הראשון, listen carefully, שידע מעשיו ויכירם כולם. A man has to look into himself, yes, and recognize what we did. אם האדם, למשל, אם האדם שלא הורגל לקיים המצוות מנעוריו ועשה כל ימיו עבירות, which means, remember, we know today that speaking bad on people is לשון הרע, but to think, we did it many times. If we start to think too much, you go into a state of depression. The answer is, this is what Aseret Yeme Teshuva is about, yes. וכמה בני אדם סבורים, it's the same page. וכמה בני אדם סבורים שאין אדם נקרא, listen carefully, בעל תשובה. Remember, this is written 500-600 years ago. People think that אין אדם נקרא בעל תשובה, אלא אם כן בעל אשת איש, he had an affair with a married, או על גויה, או יוצא לתרבות רעה, or a person that totally went out of Judaism. וכיוצא מאלו מעבירות גדולות. Many people think, okay, this is major mistakes, אבל בשאר העבירות אין יודעים לשוב עליהם, they're unaware that we have to repent for those. וזה אינו כן. כי כל על כל מה שהזהירו רבותינו עליו. Remember, this is written 500 years ago. Even on איסורים דרבנן הוא יותר חמור מדברי תורה. So he's speaking to his generation, as he's saying, I'm using an example only, כי כל העובר על דברי חכמים חייב מיתה. וכל מי שעובר על דברי תורה, okay, so basically what he's telling it, but this is not for us. I'll give you an example to understand. Many years ago, this is, I guess, in the time of a gra, he saw a fellow coming into a restaurant. He's not washing, he's not making a bracha, and he ordered a sport, the place was probably kosher. So the gra goes to the guy and says, you know, you didn't wash, you didn't do it. He says, Rabbi, if you know what I did yesterday, the week before,
This is the least of it.
you wouldn't talk to me like that. He says to him, I understand, but you should know by the end of days, the big one is the big ones, but there is the little ones also. I mean, the guy was very touched, and the gra spoke to him like that. He didn't tell him that. Okay, so the point of the story, of course, he made the Teshuva, but this is what he's trying to say to the people of his generation. Yes, I mean, I'm using my circle as an example. Yes, when I was asking the boys, some of them, so what was your New Year's resolution? 2 kids said, the bracha achona. I was happy. No.
Yeah.
For kids at 14, 15, almost everyone makes bracha rishona. Yes. Look carefully, like in the morning, when people eat breakfast, very few. To make bracha achona with Eli eats is always borei nefashot. It takes a minute. The al michya is close to a minute.
And better to sit down as well.
Okay, but forget now the sitting down. Forget about it. Yes, I'm saying he's telling us at least for these 10 days we should put it on our.
The hardest thing about that is knowing whether you had a shiur or not. That's really the hardest thing. I think a little bit more than the second time. I always make sure to have more than less. So then if you're gonna have, you have to do a lot more.
Remember, the way the cakes are being cut here. Yes. Let's say the bagels for sure. Even if you ate only half a bagel for sure. Now, the big Danish, yes.
Cut them in fours.
Every pour there is at least a kazan.
What about the cheese Danish? It's stuffed with
The
cheese.
cheese Danish not.
Doesn't mean I have enough mesonority.
No. I'm telling you in general. Either you watch your weights and you say, I didn't open a second page.
Have a little more.
Kuf tzadik dalet.
Have a little more.
No, but no, I'm using this as an example. Think for a minute. Why did the Shulchan Aruch use an example every time you see it? Why is the Shulchan Aruch using an example? Aseret Yemei Teshuva. If you remember, this is 400 years ago. If you are not makpid on Pat Akum, be makpid. Pat Akum means make sure. This, but the point is, he's trying to tell you, and this is exactly the point of the king. It's not the big ones. The big ones, of course, has to be changed. But it says to just elevate ourselves too.
A message from Ezra Hannon. His son had a baby girl. He went to deal to celebrate. Oh my God! That's the reason. Bring notes.
Now listen. So now he's giving a list of little averot that are not on our radar. Yes, but you see, Larry, you don't have me neither. The machzor of the Sfaradim, they have vidui that details everything. You realize? It covers really everything. And every year after Kippur, kids are telling me, Rabbi, I never did this, I never did. Look.
They're not pointing out the ones they did. Only the one they.
Ve'ata shma beni. The chokhmah is to look at it. This is written 500 years ago. רוב העולם אין נזהרים מדברים בטלים. I saw it this morning. I was smiling.
How times have changed.
No, מדברים בטלים, you know what I mean? Today we can say, רוב העולם אין נזהרים מלשון הרע instead, okay? ומלהסתכל בנשים. Now, להסתכל doesn't mean to look. להסתכל means to focus. ומלדבר עמהם שלא לצורך. Can you imagine, Eli, there was a time that you could tell people, don't talk to a woman unless it's necessary. ככה הוא אומר. Okay? We live in a world. No, but the point, I'm telling you again, if you use an adapter to bring it home, you realize, גם לא נזהר, remember, this is a rabbi הראשון, speaking to his congregation, you understand? דברים בטלים, looking on women, גם לא נזהרים להתפלל בכוונה. The only way to do that is to correct it a little is either I give you just an example. I was happy I saw it on Shabbat. באמת, to have a kavanah, you have to pray a little slow. However, the minute you start to focus, your mind runs out to other places. So I read yesterday that Reb Chaim of Brisk was a genius of geniuses. He used to pray Amidah very fast. Which means you focus for 3 minutes, and you zoom through it. Because if you focus too much, nevertheless, you hear the Chazon Ish, people measured him for days, every Amidah was 12 minutes. ומלדבר בבית הכנסת, here it is. Again, the Sephardic community was much better than the Ashkenazi. Today, Baruch Hashem, we're trying to...
Really? Ashkenazim getting better, the work on getting
No,
better,
I'm saying
or
that,
another way around?
We're
We're talking way close, going the other way.
Don't worry, by Ashkenazim, it's going down much more. But the truth is, depends on which community you play.
Depends what shul you go.
If you play,
I think our shul's pretty good, B'nai.
no,
Compared to
no,
other
Eli
shuls,
is right. ומשחוק וקלות ראש. Please remember again, the Admor Imre Yeme, the son of the Sfat Emet, lost 50,000 Chassidim. He lost his wife, he lost a few kids, and he says, I don't have a phone call with God, but one of the reasons that the Sfaradim, Baruch Hashem, was saved, the Ashkenazim not, is the respect to the Shul. Because he said it, of course, it pays once just to go do it. If you are staying in Yerushalayim, go to pray. The Bet Midrash of Hasidei Gur was the biggest in Israel, and average Shabbat between 8,000 to 12,000 people. No one means no one. When I was a kid, I said it was impossible. As I went there as a kid, a teenager, as it happened when I was there, a guest like me did talk. Really, suddenly you see the crowd splitting. The rabbi standing on top is looking at him. They know if you want to talk, don't come. And the reason he did it is because of his father. His father said one of the reasons is disrespect to shul. Listen to this. גם לא נזהרים בצדקה לתת למי שהגון לה. Okay, this can be explained in many ways. לתת למי שהגון לה, we have to give more or less what people are collecting here, but when it comes to large amounts, we should try to make sure that the money goes to the right people. ולאמץ עליהם,
what is שהגון?
הגון means the right person, is honest.
Okay.
ולאמץ עליהם, to harden the heart, ולקפוץ היד, which means, close, I mean, this is basically copying the pasuk.
Yes.
The pasuk says, לא תאמץ את לבבך, ולא תקפוץ. ולדבר דברים קשים לעניים. Now, I'm telling you now psychology. If a person doesn't want to give, and sometimes it's too much. People, not in your neighborhood, but you did. This neighborhood, here it's not so bad, but you come to ballpark, it's non-stop. So sometimes you feel frustrated and you say something. If you don't want to give, don't give. Don't say anything to him. גם לא נזהרים משבועת חינם. I swear. Okay. ולקלל חברו עצמו בשם, see, this doesn't apply anymore.
No.
To curse someone בשם השם. והזכרת שם שמיים לבטלה, okay? we talk a lot in halakha about it, or makom she'eino ta'or, the place is not clean. Again, does it apply today? Why? In his time, the streets were not as clean as today. In his time, people didn't have bathrooms as today. Fine. וביטול תלמוד תורה כנגד כולם. You know what he says here? Every sefer that you have, I was trying to bring from downstairs, but I couldn't find 6 or 7. The bottom line is that if a person is taking upon himself to have an hour extra a week or day to learn, this is kimat Teshuva gemura. Again, if he is doing it for the right reason, bitul talmud Torah keneged kulam. Now remember again, we are used to quantities, yes? I'm not talking about myself. I teach it every day, so it forces me, thank you. It forces me to prepare. So I have to teach in school. This is not real learning. I mean, I have to do it. Yes, real learning means okay. I have a free half an hour. I have a choice to look on my iPhone the news. I have a choice to see them. Bitul Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Well, we're not into this. Gam lo nizarim. Thank you. Gam lo nizarim mikina. Kina is jealousy. We are reading now what a great rabbi at this time, 500 years ago, is speaking to us as we are trying to go into the level of Baalei Teshuva. He says most people think that having an affair with a married woman, punching someone, says there are daily little things that we do non-stop. Kina, sina, lashon hara, the gava, the kas. He says by us getting angry is not on the radar. Holiness, lashon hara. Please take out the Rambam, Sefer Mada. Since we are 6 here, so take 4 there and 2 of the Browns. Larry, open Rambam Perek Zayin. We're coming right back here, Larry. So Rambam Perek Zayin, halachot Teshuva. The Brown, right in front of you. I like how for this. Mada, make sure it says Mada.
Yeah, it's the second part.
Yeah, no, the first.
Yeah, you don't take this one part of
Because you take this, you take it. You need a new one.
Go on. I'm good.
You're lucky. I'm more used in my mind. It's too long. It's the old one because for the years that I grew, this was the Rambam. Halachot Teshuva is the end of Sefer Madav, Perek Zayin. Halacha Gimel. Says the Rambam, Al Tomar, don't say, you realize that what we just read, you have it here like Perek Zayin. Halacha Gimel.
Yeah,
אל תאמר שאין התשובה אלא מהעבירות שיש בהם מעשה. You realize that what we just read is a summary of this Rambam. Don't think that Teshuva is only from active wrongdoing. Adultery, gezer, וגנבה.
Always start with adultery. Always start with adultery.
Eli.
We just did always adultery.
I'm sure you know, we looked at Rambam in Hot 7 Hashim. The Rambam says there was never a generation or a community that doesn't have adultery. The Kudah finished. No, we're human. זנות וגזר וגנבה, כשם שצריך אדם לשוב מאלו, obviously, the person is a thief, adultery, כך הוא צריך לחפש he has to look into his bad character traits to the roots of them. ולשוב מהם מן הכעס. Now, does it say in the Torah ever not to get angry? There's no pasuk on it. Why, how come there's no pasuk running? Don't get angry.
Well, there's no maaseh though. Is
Okay,
maaseh?
Eli says there's no maaseh. Okay, but it says still, ולא תטור אחרי לבבכם, I'm not allowed to think of a woman, I'm not allowed to
Is
think
that
of
is that a su? Is
So
it?
what
I mean,
it's-
it tells you it's
it's
a
a
law.
lot.
I mean, it's a.
It says,
How come he doesn't put here Lashon Hara in this?
second. Listen carefully, let's read the list again and let's summarize what's the common denominator of all. Listen to the list. He says like this. The first one is anger, which means if the first one, the Rambam is listing, it is everyone has disease. Eva is hate. Remember, we hate Hamas. There are many people we hate subconsciously, yes? We hate this guy, he's always sitting on my seat. Hate. No, but leave the word hate too.
You hate his actions, Rabbi. I don't know if you hate him.
But when you see him, your blood pressure goes up. Only 2 points. By Hamas, it goes 15.
That's
By
being
him.
psychology, but human nature, they're not thinking about the difference.
ومن הקנאה, from jealousy. ومن ההתחרות, competitiveness in a big way. This is obsession, realize obsession. מן העיטור, lightheaded. Is the Rambam telling me not to have a lightheaded? Of course, otherwise you'll be depressed all day. These people are always making fun of everything they hear. I read last night a fascinating, the first time I saw it. You know that in the 50s, in one of the Shemitot, in the south, all the kibbutzim were not religious. And naturally, they didn't keep anything. There was a kibbutz, Komemiyut. Komemiyut was a religious kibbutz. Grasshoppers came all over except in the yeshiva of Baalei Teshuva. This is a special yeshiva, it's called Tivot Olam in Bnei Brak. Most of the people who attended were either pilots, Baalei Teshuva. So one of them says, Komemiyut, I think my father grew up in the kibbutz nearby. Let me call it and see. Says, how is it possible that no one was touched by the fact that millions of grasshoppers are attacking everyone?
Just
This
like
is
the
not
Makor. Just like the
1,000
Makor.
years ago. Anyway,
Just like the
he
Makor.
calls his father and he says, Abba, you grew up in this kibbutz. He says, yes. Do you remember? He says, everyone remembers it somehow. So he says to his father, remember, he's now religious. He says, Abba, did he touch you? I mean, how come? How come? Listen to this. He says, my mentor in Israel, you have a group, Sofim. Sofim is like, he says, he told us, look, this is what he told us. Even the grasshoppers know that the food of the dosim, of the religious people, is stinking. This is why they're not coming in.
Too good
He
for
took the event to prove that the religious people are dirty and smelly. Yeah, they're not going there.
Grasshoppers only.
Even the grasshoppers,
Lashon
you
Hara.
understand, he took something. And the guy.
They spun it. They spun it a different way.
He went crazy. But this is what the Rambam means. He took. If you take lightheaded every experience you have in life, the most frightening experience.
You'll find a way to look at it in a different
This
view,
is
different light.
exactly the point.
Is that free will, Rabbi? Is that free
This
will?
is what free will. Radifat HaMamon is obsession with money. Radifat HaKavod. Telling you every year after Kippur, I ask you, so what impressed you about Shul? Twice.
This guy,
Kids
is
told
that
me-
money? This guy.
Kids told me that money is important. You got from people. Why did you get from people? Those who bid for 150,000 got there. This is what a kid got from Shul and Yom Kippur.
Money's important.
And we pre-sell out.
What?
The first time.
First year, we pre-sold out.
Sold them, it's much
Baruch
smoother.
Hashem.
Save 30 minutes.
No, but I'm
more.
using an example. It's not only that. It's the message you're giving to young kids who are coming to Shul and Yom Kippur. This is what the kid,
It's not only that, it's the first thing they do. They get there, we sing a song, and boom, they start bidding for a half an hour. Before Erev Kippur, the first thing you do.
But it's very, it's very, very often. רדיפת המאכלות,
in the morning bidding.
רדיפת המאכלות is obsession with food. But if you carefully read into the list, what is the common denominator? The common denominator is me, and only me. How can he do it to me is anger.
Does he know who I am?
How can my wife do it to me? How can the driver do it to me? Hate, jealousy, everything is me, and me. Look, I mean, the Rambam is not saying not to be jealous. You have to be jealous because this is driving us. But obsession with it, competitiveness, of course you need it.
Isn't all underlying denying the providence of Hashem that's all intended? If a person is jealous of somebody, that means you're in disagreement with Hashem's allotment to you.
Correct. But this is already at a very high level. And the simple level it starts is life, me and only me, and everything that I see is me or not. This is basically what we're saying. Let's go back. You realize, let's go back to our book, and you see that.
Reminds me of one of my brother Hurl's jokes. Sorry to interrupt, about me. He once got a comedy gig at a senior citizens place. So he's feeling good. He says, "Do you know who I am?" He tells the audience, "Do you know who I am?" I like he's a great comedian. He says, "Mister, if you don't know who you are, go to the front desk and say who your name is."
Yeah.
So if you ask for the top, then what's the sword there?
But this is exactly. But this is exactly the point.
Hung up on so much in eating.
No, but I'm saying there's no sword, there's no lob
No,
there.
there's nothing there. He's eating glad kosher, bet yourself.
He's just eating a lot.
But you're obsessed with food. This is exactly, I mean, by Ashkenazim we have a disease called Kiddush club. Or if you have a big Sabbath Kiddush after Tefillah, I mean, many women say today that the husbands drink this Sabbath and they come home and the kids don't see the father. Yes, but this is, the Rambam is not saying to stop completely. The Rambam is saying put it on a low fire and learn from it. But it takes a lot of guts to identify that we have it. Now the reason why the Rambam over there doesn't mention Lashon Hara, the Rambam is talking about Yesodot, foundations, midot that are. Lashon Hara is a result of jealousy. Lashon Hara is a result of competitiveness. Lashon Hara is a result of hate. You understand? The Rambam is talking about foundation, but it takes a lot of guts to identify what we are. In the last few years, many books were published by a fellow that became very famous more after he died. His name was Huffman. He was a graduate of Yeshivat Hebron, but he was a good graduate of Yeshivat Hebron. And he started to work, here it is, in the early 50s, to deal with criminals. How did he get the job? He came out of Yeshiva. So he says when everyone wrote, he's looking for a job. So Dr. Feld, the head of the division, says to him, "I'll tell you why I took you. Because everyone told me his credentials. You are the only one that wrote, I know nothing about it. You are going to do well." He became the head of he was in charge of all the criminals in Tel Aviv, and every judge, whatever Huffman said, so he says, you want one big meeting. I mean, the head of wanted them to take a certain course, and they felt uncomfortable because at that time they believed in Freud and too much sexuality. And he goes around the table, and he Yeshiva Bocher says, I think we have to. I was taught in Yeshiva to look into myself, to know exactly who I am, not to kid myself. You see? So they were, so to say, afraid to dig so much into it. He says, this is what the person is about. This is, look very well. Gam, you realize up till now, everything he told us here was really negative, yes? To talk in shul, to not to give enough tzedakah, to bitul Talmud Torah, jealousy now is going to positive. But remember again, this is 500 years ago. We don't have to dig 20 years ago. But how was last year, 2 years ago? There is an area that each one of us knows. גם לא נזהרים בענייני קיום המצוות התלויים במעשה. Here now it goes again. נטילת ידיים, נזיקין, בין אדם לחברו. Yeah. Okay, so each one of us, we assume, yes, that if you scratch into someone's car, there's no one there, it's at night, you'll even know. But if you live in a very crowded community, very often people have, I'll give you an example. This year we got a new member in our lab state, a fellow, Larry, you don't know who he is. He's a dental surgeon. Anyway, his family loves, swimming, boating. So he says to me, I wouldn't believe we have 5 partners in the dock. They have the right to be in the lake. And the dock is not perfect. And he says, I offer to buy a new one for $25,000. A new one. No. The answer is people are not bad people. And people are always afraid, who knows, he's a new one, maybe he wants ownership. This has been Yanei Nezikin Ben Adam L'Chavero. So he asked me, I said, make sure that your lawyer write a contract.
Yeah.
I didn't mention
All the terms.
there's no lawyer. He said, because if it's yours, you're the owner, and you wasn't skilled. A fellow that substitutes for me the Daf Yomi, says, takes me to his driveway. Says to me, look, I share the driveway with my neighbor, okay?
Yeah.
Now, a third of the driveway has definitely room for his car. But his neighbor, since really it's half-half, was
Extended
building
the
a
house.
new entrance to the house in the middle of the driveway.
Some of the driveway.
Right, so basically,
Two
what
cars
would you
can't
say
pass.
like if you're a judge?
Yeah,
I told him there's no question that what he did is wrong. He just took, if you learn about Batra, Jeffrey, usage of a place.
It's an easement for both people to use their.
Okay, so
their-
Can't encumber.
so he
Legally,
says to me, I spoke to him a few times, and he refuses to listen. He's thinking about going to court because what the guy was building is illegal. I told him, don't ever. But he says, his daughter is a therapist. He says it's difficult for parents to come and park in there. No, but it bothers him. He says it doesn't happen there.
What's the recourse?
No, but this is what he means. Yanei Nezikin means if you have a...
The Bedin, maybe.
No. So he suggested to the guy. The guy says, but you have to go to the Bedin that I want you to go.
Oh.
Okay, anyway.
So how's
That
that work?
always happens.
Yeah, go to my Bedin, you can't go to your Bedin.
What does it mean?
Yeah,
Your
they choose a
Bedin, my
Bedin.
Bedin. But this, even the people say, it shows you how
Yeah,
they-
it shouldn't matter what Beijing you go to, Beijing is Beijing.
And
Really
he's
should.
friends with the rabbis in that
Yeah.
Bedin, it's just Kehillah,
Yeah,
maybe
does it matter?
feels like
Of course
it's
it does, right?
human nature.
That's the whole thing. Whenever there's a Bedin, they want to go to hit this guy.
and the Bedin doesn't have the teeth also to enforce.
Even
Yeah.
No, but I'm giving you an example. If you are a neighbor,
What they do when they don't? They can, but you still have to take it to the American
Right,
court
right,
and
right,
force it
right,
somewhere.
right,
If you
right.
don't broke this.
no, but Larry, you have this business all the time. But if you have a neighbor, there's a Shulchan Aruch, Choshen Mishpat, and there is Gemara Baba Batra. If you learn the first 2 chapters of Baba Batra, it's only about your neighbor. Yes. Here, I'll give you a perfect example. A young couple, the man is the son of a mega wealthy man, he's in his first business, built himself a beautiful home, and he was amazingly nice to us because the noise was there a year and a half. Now, so again, the driver, here's a driver, here's a driver. My sister-in-law has a big air condition. It sticks really till his,
All right, that's encumbrance. That's,
so his kids, she's a widow, unfortunately, but his kids, one of his kids bumped into it. Is my sister-in-law obligated or not? You understand, to change air conditioning?
oh,
So he himself is such a wealthy kid. He says, maybe I'll buy the man one of these machines. But one of his sons, okay, so
he damaged it.
no, so what we realize, it's an interesting question. She has the air conditioner exactly in her driveway. I mean, before he built it this way, and the entrance to his house is exactly as the kids come out. the air
Is
conditioner
there an
is-
easement that way?
Okay,
she
but this
put
is
the air
the
conditioners,
this
not
is the
easement?
Din Torah. I don't know.
We don't know.
No. It's an you have to be.
Because it's already there.
No, Eli, of course. I mean, I had a chazak. My sister-in-law has it for 10 years.
If she put the air conditioning in the easement where it's supposed to be clear, then she has some liability.
No, but I'm telling you, but this is a clear example. He says, I understand. Okay, so me tell you about some form, good form, and he covered the file. And using, but this is you have to go to a man that knows halakha. A regular local rabbi cannot answer. Because you have to be very, very familiar with.
Rabbi Sutton, yeah, who does that?
Okay, this type,
Becomes-
okay.
yeah, becomes-
This type of a case. Yes.
Couple of people have a shared driveway. The guy moved the car in the morning, where they left the car there, he's supposed to pull it back.
Tell me about it.
The
Shared
real,
drive's a disaster.
Jeffrey, the real answer
So I
is,
have, my driveway, the guy built in the back,
Yeah.
and I have a garage, and then he has a car. So every time so one time I told him, listen, if you're gonna continue, I'm gonna park my car in the back, I'm gonna park it here, and you can't
You
park in
can't
the
park at
driveway.
all, yeah.
Why you being like that? I said, 30 years, I didn't open my mouth. But now you're calling my wife 10, 11 o'clock at night. It's not nice. I said, because I'm being nice to
but you
you.
see,
you're
you
being nice to
hear
me."
this here. It was nice for his
You know,
name
good
30 years. Now you like, no, but you guys was
No, you're nice to people, and then they can call, you know, man. Now he got 3 calls because it's not my
So
problem.
this-
He got 3
So
calls.
this is why the Gemara is saying that you have to do a mecha. Mecha means the fact that Jeffrey gave you 5 years. Every year you have to say,
Oh,
Yeah.
there is a,
it's
there's
not
a,
yours.
there's
it's
a
not-
grandfather type clause?
No, but no.
New York law there is.
I just
In
want
a
to
way,
know.
they say you have to renew,
I'm
giving you
just-
permission all the time.
Larry, the reason I'm saying it is because this is an area that,
It's like it has like
remember,
that,
we
right?
live more or less, each one has a private house. But if you live in a very cramped community, there are many.
I told you that in my condominium, I'm on the board, and then my neighbor's on the board, and we have very unique house. So we could extend our driveways to 50 cars outside, and he could, my neighbor, and we're both on the board. So we went to the guy on the board, and we told him, we wanna do this. We checked with the lawyer, he said, you can vote for your own board thing.
Huh.
So the other guy tells me, no, the president tells me, you can't, you shouldn't do it. Then why shouldn't I do it? He goes, because then other people are gonna look and see that you have it, and they don't. I go, wait a second, they can't do it. I said, this is Sodom all over again. I go, they're not losing anything.
Larry, it
and
sounds
then
familiar.
you
You
do it.
realize?
Remember, we wound up doing it.
Both you and your neighbor?
Listen to
What?
this.
Both you and your
Yeah, we said it, we're the only ones who can do
But
it.
listen,
He said,
Nissim Karelitz. Nissim Karelitz had a real big deal. This was a real big deal. He says that few neighbors came and told him there is a wedding hall around here. And sometimes the music continues till after 11 o'clock at night. And so he got up and he published and he said, listen, you're right. After he said, he decided to cry. He says, parents are marrying off a kid. And the music is a little, can't you just be happy for them? Well, obviously, if it's every night.
Yeah, it's every night.
Right.
No, but the point is, the Gemara Bava Batra and Choshen Mishpat was written for the Day Torah. The example I gave with we are very good friends and it's going to be solved one way or another. Yes, whatever has to be done, be done. But when people are pushing it too much and
Now you heard I sold my house, I'm selling my house. Because
Yeah.
one, so he tells me, I hope I have as good a neighbors as you.
Oh, yeah.
Now they want that, they appreciate you.
have my name.
The Ashkenazim say they have 3 parshiyot. Acharei Mot, Kedushim, and Mor. After a person dies, then he becomes a Kadosh. Then they Mor, everyone talks.
It's also quite
Here, he has a neighbor that nudges him all the time now that Jeffrey is moving. The neighbor says, I hope the new neighbor will be as good as you. This is life, Jeffrey. This is life.
And my former neighbor, when he sold his house, he's moving. A few days before he came to visit us, he really misses us and really was a good neighbor for 20, 30 years. He feels very, he was nice, very courteous. He came to tell us goodbye. It was very nice.
But now you understand, Jeffrey, the depth of the halachah of bar mitzvah. Larry, you know what bar mitzvah means? If Jeffrey is selling his house, yes, the neighbor has the right to come. I am the first one to bid on it. As long as, of course, he's willing to pay.
Yeah,
What? It's exactly the point. The point is, but very often again, not because he wants to invest in real estate. If he says, I have children, I would like my kids to when my neighbor had to make his driveway, my wife and my sister-in-law told him, you can cut this part, even though it's ours. Eventually, our house is going to be taken by you, because they understand everyone is making new homes in the neighborhood, and he's the neighbor, he will probably take it for his kids. Come. Remember, this is to remember, I'm using just another example because Larry, most people here live around here, no one is driving. Jeffrey drives. I drive every morning. These days, it's impossible to park. Sometimes you can see a parking spot and someone drives and parks exactly in the middle. Understand? Why don't you think for a second to park at the end this way? It's a simple thing but we have to think about it. This goes into the little things that בקיום שבת כדין, ורבים נכשלים בזה, כי דבר פשוט הוא מאוד. מי שאינו בקיא במצוות, he says, third line, נכשל בהרבה מקומות. וכהנה עושה אדם עבירות כל ימיו, ולא מרגיש. Many people, לכן צריך זה עכשיו לידע העבירות שעשה. I'm saying it again. We have to take it with a grain of salt, which means let's not pay attention to the unimportant. I mean, Rabbi Shvadol used to always use it. He used to say that he spoke once in Aseret Teshuva. A man came to him and says, Rabbi, thank you for speaking. You know, I realized that, I'm laughing to say, that Friday night before Motzi, it says in Shulchan Aruch, you have to make a little cut. And I never did it, and now I started. So Rabbi Shvadol used to, you take 2 halot, yes? So the halacha says, today we have good night, but the halacha is before you cut the one you're going to cut, make a little sign that you're going to cut it, whatever. The guy says he was not makpid on it. This is what Aseret Teshuva is for. Why don't you decide that twice a week you speak 1 lashon hara less? But it's very easy to decide about cutting the. No, but he was a master of, making it.
Rabbi Yeme made us all yesterday, Shabbat, he said, pick something, but don't pick Lashon Hara, because you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, exactly. It was a little funny when he said that. I mean, maybe come back a little bit. He said, just don't pick it.
Don't pick it, you won't be able to do it.
No.
He was joking.
Of course he was joking, but the point is that Lashon Hara must be underlined. Because be'emet, if you really read between the lines, Chafetz Chaim says our tefillot are not accepted.
So he gave us one I never heard before. I asked a few people, they never heard.
What?
You should not say Asher Yatzah while you're walking.
Yeah.
You should stand still.
Okay.
Never heard it. I asked a few people, they never heard it also. I don't think I ever said it. Standing still.
It's standing. Are you implying you have to be standing when you can you sit when you say it? Yaakov told me it's well, you have the best kavanah. It's better to be standing when you say it. If you have better kavanah sitting down, okay, but it's better to be standing. I didn't know that.
But I never heard it. Most people actually say, but I say, well, I'm walking out, when you're walking as you're walking. But I never heard that. It's funny.
How can a person know what to do or not to do? First, he says, ילמד המצוות, ויבין בכל מצווה ומצווה מה חסר ממנו. So let's say the example you said from Rabbi Beida. So learn הלכות ברכות, הוריד הרמב"ם מפרק, הלכות ברכות, פרק י"ד. ובמה הבא, guys, this is not for us. You see? Again, the Sfaradim are saying, halachot, and you have a million things. Everyone has to look at himself and realize, I am at the age of 40, 50, 60, 70. What is in my age group, in my social? Remember, it's very easy to talk about. What he meant was his very much in the share.
You know, when you go through the video, you go, oh, wow, at least I didn't do that one. I did that, but I didn't do that. You know, I'll go through all of them.
But I'm telling you, again, the same way that he made a joke, don't say, let's speak Lashon Hara. Let's speak things that by next year we can say, I improved on it.
What you said about stages of life, some men that are retired and sit around all day kibitzing, that's where the more opportunity arises. The person is working all day long, involved in his work, he doesn't have so much opportunity. So that's a challenge that age cohort would have.
No, but this is exactly the point. אלא אם כן ילמד המצוות ואז ידע העבירה שהתחרט עליה, כמו שאמר הכתוב, כי פשעי אני אדע וחטאתי נגדי תמיד. I'm telling you again, I think I told you last week. Talmid of Rav Kotler in the early 50s said, Yeshiva was 60, 70 guys. There was a boy who was really sick. So a boy, a minyan of boys went to daven Kippur in his room. And Neila, young boys, they came back to the main. So Rabbi Kotler himself went to pray with the guy.
Wow.
Neila is a prayer, making someone feel good. That your rabbi is there. But again, it takes greatness. But again, it's not to knock down the others. It's just to realize, using the language is, the way the Sfarim say it, it's a rise of genius. First, he's trying to just push us to do wrong. He realizes, no, I'm changing. Then he's telling us, okay, so let's change this, change that. This is his advice, is to be blinded to the major and to pay attention to the unimportant. Okay, then he says, listen what he says. Look at the third. Larry, you have it or not, Larry?
Yes, I have it. Thank you.
I'm jumping now from the first to the third. It's difficult. צריך החוטא לידע ולהאמין בעומק הלב שיש לו גמול ועונש בדינים קשים על העבירות שעשה, ואם לא ידע זה לא יחוש לשוב. We all believe in general. He says you have to realize it as human beings. Hashem built the world for us, and everything that we do wrong is damaging. And everything we do, אבל אחר שיבורר אצלו העונש, אז ישוב ויתחרט again. When he is saying that we are going to be punished again, it's not to make us depressed or afraid. He says you have to realize that as a human being, whatever you do has consequences. And again, we should not go to the far past because it's gone. We say the Sfaradim say every day, Ashkenazim will say, David Alecha Hashem Nafshi Esa Deni B'Pasuk, Sha'ai B'Chatai. What's the Pasuk?
Something like that.
In a second. If you really understand text, in a second, David Alecha Hashem.
Your day bore that one? And
No. The chapter, I think it's chapter 25. I'm reading you the Pasuk here. Listen to this. Chatot neurai, the mistakes I did as a teenager, upshai, אל תזכור. וחסדך זכור יד. Says Rav Hoffman, the pasuk Eli should say, Chatot u'pish'ei na'urai. Why are we referring to the mistakes that we made at the young age as chet? Chet is mishogeg. Should say Chatot u'pish'ei na'urai. You know what he says? All the mistakes that we did at a young age before we became more mature are considered shogeg. Even though perhaps we didn't believe because we were not in the right mind.
Is that why he doesn't have a viti with it, which would be on purpose, but mezid?
So no, so he says,
which is to rebel.
So he says,
leaving out.
So he says, very good. Chatot neurai refers to everything we did, even if we didn't believe. Psha'ai means from the time I became more mature and I understand my responsibilities, then it becomes psha'ai. זה דבר עמוק מאוד, זה מה שהוא אומר, כן? He's dealing with, I mean, he dealt with millions of criminals, yes, but he's dealing with, in the last 30 years of his life, with many religious teenagers. He says, don't think about what you did a year ago, 2 years ago. It's not you. The minute, but it's important to realize that in these 10 days, or still a few days, just to put it on the radar. I mean, the way I was raised, or let's say, what the great educators of our generation say, you cannot decide what to do for a year. Decide 1 month, you're focusing on this. The second month, third month, make a list of major things. I'm taking it with a. I mean, look at our Kibbutz Avai and be like. Every time I'm thinking about that, the answer is I was a baby. Baby means a teenage baby, a regular teenage kid. Did I have my parents? Yes. Did I have enough? Definitely not. Was I respectful? Definitely yes. Was I respectful? Yes. The answer is that later, as you.
But it gets harder.
What?
Because I told my wife, you see other people my age who have parents, but they're older. And the Kibbutz Avai is a million times harder now than it is when you can, okay, you still speak perfectly fine. But now when they're older and you're dealing with their needs and things,
sometimes it's totally illogical.
I talk to my friends,
Their mood or the angry old man stuff.
once the father is like, I would say he's just mean and abusive and he's not all there.
And his father is mean, abusive
to the wife. I mean, dealing with these things are just impossible.
So באמת, the Gemara says in cases like this, the kid should try to avoid his parents.
You can't, he's like a caretaker.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my wife used to take care of me.
As I was telling my wife, you think it's hard? I mean, now this is why it's the hardest mitzvah, not when you're young. It's
I used to tell my
peanuts.
wife, my father, go take care of me or whatever. Don't worry about it. You have the zechut to take care of your parents. One day, her father goes, yeah, you should be from to the doctor. I know your husband doesn't want me to take care of me. She told him, what are you talking about? My husband don't want me to.
I read recently a very interesting story. A woman was already sick, and the doctor told her, it looks, if you ask me, it looks like the days are weeks or months or number. Says the doctor, I have a life insurance that I'm sure I'll be. Says, what do you mean? Says, I'm a religious woman. It says, Kabel et avicha v'et imecha. My mother lives by me in the house. 24/7, I'm caring for my mother. There's no doubt by me that I have more than what you said. I mean, this is no, but obviously she was very devoted to her parents.
So with men in particular, when they get older, they have this concept of angry old man. There's medication to help them reduce their anger, but they got to get counseling to get to the right place. Even the person's regular doctor can prescribe this medicine, not even without the patient knowing.
Bezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow, but guys, it's Yom Rishon today, Yom Kippur, Yom Chamishi. We have to take into real life, one area, 2 areas. What?
I think I just have a friend who's going through an impossible situation, and
there's no way she can put his parents in.
no, that's one parent. In fact, we went to lunch there, and my son David was there and was sitting with his father,
Oh.
nearby, and the father looks and goes, "What's your name?" David. He goes, "Oh, you're a Kohen." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You're not really a Kohen. You're not a real Kohen." He goes, "You're not tall. You're not good looking." Meanwhile, my son is 6 feet. We're sitting down. He's 6 feet. He happens to be good.
Wow.
But this is what he tells me.
You hear this? They went to eat by someone, and the guy says, "What's your name, Towel?" It's Eli's son. He says, "No, you're not a Kohen. You're not tall. You're not good looking. This is in front
You're
of
not a real
6,
Kohen.
in front of 6 people."
Oh, but the wheel in Arabic means
No,
tall.
right. No, but Tawil,
but
they
it's
always
not
say
really,
Tawil. Tawil in
derivation,
Arabic
so
means tall. They say if you're not tall, you're not.
Destined to die young, so they give Tawil
Yeah.
the name to change, extend their lives, so they're not subject to that Yizarada thing.
And he's 6 feet tall. He's 6 feet with singing.
Because we have a number of short time.
Ali, you're coughing. Ali, we have to be careful.
No, I'm okay. It was just something caught in my throat. Thank you, though. Thank you.
By me, it's air conditioning. Air conditioning kills me. Okay? Have a good day, but remember, Yom Kippur is Yom Chamishi. What we learn, the Emet can change in many ways. I mean, all the great rabbis, the fellow came to the Chazon Ish the day after Kippur, a week, he says, "Rabbi, in Yom Kippur, I was on the 7th cloud, and now, so to him, as long as you are on the 7th cloud and you are sincere and you are a little bit better, this is enough. But we have to really improve to show it."
Talmud Devorah is a good place to start.
Unbelievable. I gave Yitzchak one of the Talmud Devorahs. I remember a few years ago, we bought 12. I gave him one.
If we need more, just tell me.
Yeah, and Archko came now with a very sophisticated one. The one we bought then was very good. Talmud Devorah is the right book to read, yes.
They tell you
It's a wonderful day.
casino plan is getting voted down, they're not gonna have the casino plan on.
Mhm.
Yeah, tomorrow's the official vote, but the people who have the seat at the table to vote already told us 4 of them said they're voting no, and you don't need 3 no's,
It's
it's
a
4
mess,
no's.
Yes,
We worked on this for 4 or 5 years. And
it is that they wanted to build a casino and
on, but it's gonna be voted down tomorrow.
tomorrow they're voting it down.
It's a big deal.
The real version is the new
Oh, this.